Mike Wallace's bid to compete in the 2025 Daytona 500 has been officially denied by NASCAR. The decision comes as NASCAR continues to enforce stricter policies for driver approvals, prioritizing safety and experience, especially on high-speed tracks like Daytona.
Ryan Blaney has won his way into the championship.
A great day for Kyle Larson.
Seventh career win in his 100th.
Joey Logano takes the checkered flag.
Hell yeah,
Wallace, now 65 years old, has been out of consistent NASCAR competition for several years. His most recent NASCAR appearances were back in 2020, where he competed in 3 road course events in the Xfinity Series. However, as NASCAR noted in their statement, Wallace has not raced on an intermediate or larger oval track since 2015. This gap in oval track experience played a significant role in their decision to deny him approval to participate in this year's Daytona 500. To better understand this decision, it is important to consider NASCAR's recent history regarding driver approvals. Over the last few years, the organization has adopted a more cautious approach, especially for drivers who have been inactive for an extended period. In 2021, for example, Jennifer Jo Cobb, a veteran driver, was denied approval to race in a Cup Series event at Talladega due to concerns over her preparedness. Similarly, in 2022, Shane Van Gisbergen, a highly accomplished driver from New Zealand, was required to compete in an ARCA race before being allowed to enter the Xfinity Series race at Daytona. And even this year, Helio Castroneves, an IndyCar legend who has raced at speeds exceeding 220 miles per hour, had to run an ARCA race to prove his readiness for NASCAR's top level. These examples show that NASCAR's decision regarding Mike Wallace is not entirely unprecedented. Wallace himself seemed taken aback by the ruling. He shared his reaction in a heartfelt Facebook post, expressing his disappointment and confusion over the decision. He revealed that NASCAR's president had previously assured him that everything was on track for his participation in Daytona, which made the reversal all the more shocking. According to Wallace, the NASCAR competition director informed him that not only would he not be approved for the Daytona 500, but he was also not cleared to compete in any of NASCAR's National Series in 2025.
The headlines are right. So Mike received a phone call from Elton Sawyer, and Elton said, Mike, we're disqualifying you, not just from the Daytona 500, but anything in NASCAR. So Elton Sawyer told Mike that, Mike, because of your inactivity, you haven't done any racing in 5 years.
While there is a possibility for him to go through an approval process for 2026, this news was a significant blow to Wallace and his supporters. The decision raises questions about how NASCAR handles communication and sets expectations for drivers seeking approval. Wallace's frustration likely stems from what appears to be a breakdown in communication between different levels of NASCAR's administration. If he was initially told that he would be allowed to race, only to later learn otherwise, it is understandable why he would feel blindsided. This situation highlights the importance of clear, consistent communication within the organization to avoid such misunderstandings. Comparisons have been drawn between Wallace's case and that of Derek Cope, another older driver who competed in the Daytona 500 in 2021. Cope, a past Daytona 500 champion, was allowed to participate despite being out of the driver's seat for 3 years at the time. However, Cope's history as a Daytona winner likely played a role in NASCAR's decision to approve him. Wallace, while experienced, does not have a similar accolade on his resume. This difference might explain why NASCAR decided to be more stringent in his case. It is worth noting that NASCAR's emphasis on safety is a driving force behind these decisions. The Daytona 500 is one of the most prestigious and challenging events in motorsports, with speeds often exceeding 200 miles per hour. The margin for error is incredibly small, and the consequences of mistakes can be severe. By requiring drivers to have recent experience on high-speed ovals, NASCAR is working to minimize risks for all competitors. While this approach might feel harsh to fans and drivers alike, it underscores the organization's commitment to maintaining a high standard of safety and competition. Wallace's situation also shines a light on the challenges faced by older drivers attempting to make a comeback. At 65, Wallace would have been one of the oldest drivers to compete in a NASCAR race in recent memory. While age itself isn't necessarily a barrier, the combination of age, time away from the sport, and the demands of modern NASCAR racing create significant hurdles. Today's Cup Series cars are more technologically advanced and physically demanding than ever before, requiring drivers to be in peak condition and possess up-to-date experience. Wallace seemed confident he had done what was necessary to secure approval for the race, but the process appears to have been more complex than anticipated. NASCAR, like any professional sport, has stringent requirements, particularly for high-stakes events like the Daytona 500. These requirements are in place to ensure the safety of drivers, teams, and fans. In Mike's case, it seems there were missteps in communication and timing that ultimately derailed his plans. The Daytona 500 isn't just any race. It is the pinnacle of American stock car racing and the most prestigious event on the NASCAR calendar. Drivers competing in this race aren't just racing for glory. They're also taking on immense risk. Cars weighing around 3,000 pounds, traveling at speeds nearing 200 miles per hour, separated by mere inches. Mike's career spans several decades, during which he competed in all three of NASCAR's premier series, the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Craftsman Truck Series. His first significant success came in the Xfinity Series, where he earned 4 race wins. His most memorable victory came in 2004 at Daytona International Speedway, where he showcased his exceptional skill on super speedways by mastering the draft and winning the season opener. In the Cup Series, Mike Wallace made over 190 starts, consistently demonstrating his skill and determination against some of the best drivers in the world. His versatility also extended to the Truck Series, where he claimed 5 victories, further proving his adaptability across different types of vehicles and racing formats. Throughout his career, Wallace was known for his professionalism and work ethic. He often raced for smaller teams, making the most of limited resources and proving his ability to compete with the sport's top-tier drivers. One mistake can lead to catastrophic crashes, not just for one driver, but for multiple cars. While accidents are inevitable even with the most skilled drivers, NASCAR has a duty to minimize risks as much as possible. This involves ensuring that every participant meets high standards of preparation and recent experience. Mike Wallace's last serious NASCAR competition was over a decade ago, and while his past accomplishments are respected, the sport has evolved significantly since then. Technology, car design, and competition levels have all changed, making it crucial for drivers to stay consistently engaged with the sport. NASCAR's decision to deny Mike approval wasn't a dismissal of his legacy, but a protective measure for everyone involved. The disappointment of this situation extends beyond Mike Wallace. MBM Motorsports, the team that had planned to field Wallace's car, is now in a difficult position. They must quickly find a replacement driver and secure sponsorship for the race, which is no small task. They are now working against the clock to prepare for the Great American Race. And that's all we have for today's episode. Don't forget to comment down your thoughts on this, and while you're down there, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well.